Muy buenas, pues estamos en un día laboral, voy con la ropa de trabajo. Vamos a hacerle una entrevista a una persona, pero vamos a ver, mi compañero Marcelo Blanco. A ver, Marcelo, muy buenas. A ver, ¿estás por ahí? Muy buenas.
Aquí estoy con las preguntas en mano. ¿Cómo estás, Juan Carlos?
Las preguntas endemoniadas.
Las preguntas, va a ser bravo esto. Bueno, a ver, ¿a quién vamos a tener hoy?
¿A quién le vamos a hacer la entrevista hoy?
Hoy vamos a tener a creo que una de las personas más famosas en el mundo pinball. Creo que si alguien es un influencer o un youtuber del mundo pinball, es Mr. Todd Tuckey, el señor Todd Tuckey, que está aquí con nosotros. Vamos a hacer unas preguntas. Creo que todo el mundo lo conoce y si no, ahora vamos a conocer más de él.
Hello.
Hey guys. Hello.
Welcome, Mr. Todd Tuckey.
Thank you.
Bueno, como mi inglés es como dice Andy de tal, bueno.
Okay, as his English is so bad, he says.
Very, very bad. Lo único que yo sí que voy a Chicago, tú no lo sé.
Okay.
Y espero ver a Todd en Chicago y
Juan
saludar.
Carlos is going to Chicago Pinball Show next October. I don't know if I'm going there. Still getting some stuff solved, but
You better.
he hopes. I hope so, and he hopes to see you there. He will say hello for sure.
Good. Bueno, os dejo.
Okay.
Disfrutar de la entrevista. Yo os sigo ahí en el backstage y si hay algo, salgo enseguida. ¿Vale?
Okay.
Hasta luego.
Well, Juan Carlos is on the backstage now, so there we have some questions. We met some years ago. We thought, I'm telling our audience here, in the PinFest on 2019, I think.
Yes.
And I had the pleasure to go to your shop, and you were so kind, and it was amazing to be there. And I have your T-shirt for sure.
You should be wearing it.
Oh, I have a Pinball TV shirt today because it's a show.
I know.
I was wearing it on the Texas show, although.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, sure.
It fits you well.
Thank you. Well, you always be so kind to me, and it's so nice to have you here because most people in Argentina knows you very well, but some people in Spain still doesn't know you, which is weird.
I'm not happy. Everyone should know me.
So, yeah, I think you're known worldwide. So this time, we want to make an interview with you, and so you can tell us a little more about yourself, so people in Spain will know you, and people in Argentina and all other Spanish-speaking countries will know a little bit more about you. So, first question. How you started in all this pinball and arcade world?
Well, I actually started it as a hobby way before I started TNT Amusements. So I probably bought my first pinball machine when I was 17 or 18 years old. It was a Gottlieb Crisscross.
Oh, great game.
We got it for $100, and it worked, and we played it. You know, we didn't really know a whole lot about what was going on, but I could tinker with it every so often. Something wouldn't work, and we played with it. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we got it going again. So
that's awesome.
My aunt and uncle bought a campground. That's our doorbell. And bought a campground in Tennessee, and they wanted me to outfit a game room. So I started looking around for games to buy. to put in there, and then they would make all the money. So we
Oh.
started doing that, yes. So I wasn't TNT Amusements yet. I was running my other business. And
Oh,
it wasn't until 79 when I decided to start buying brand new games and putting them in locations on a 50-50
Oh.
split. So I could safely say 79 is when I changed my business name. It was TNT Projection Service because I was running films.
Oh,
Parties. I took 16 millimeter films to
yeah.
hundreds of parties in the area. I entertained hundreds of kids.
Oh, that explains a lot. And we go back to those films later.
I still
Some
have
of
a
the
lot of them.
Yeah, I know.
Still using them. And then,
So
changed
you
it.
you start as an operator in the late 70s. So
Yeah. 79 is the first year I bought my new games.
no,
And back then, it was a lot of money. Think about it. $1979. Gorgar was $1,500 brand new.
yeah.
The video games were $1,700, $1,899. Like Space Invaders, I think was $1,899.
Mm-hmm.
But that was black and white. And the first color game
Yeah.
I bought was the Sega Gremlin, and it was $21.99.
Wow.
And it had two games in it. It had a Space Invaders clone called Invinso, and the second game was a driving game called Head On 2. And you pushed a button on the control panel, and you switch between the two games.
Oh, great.
I still have it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's in my
That's
warehouse.
awesome.
Still have it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Sometimes I say when people start talking about current prices for a new game, I always tell people that back then machines were pricey too.
Yeah.
It was not cheap to buy a game. I think the difference it was that back then, or for instance in Argentina, you put a game on a beach location, let's say, with the work all the summer season, and they paid itself in one season.
Right.
That's the difference, because they worked so much, they played so much, but they were expensive even back there.
See, think about this. It was a quarter to play in 1979. It was a quarter, or 25 cents, to buy a soda in the same arcade.
Oh,
And it was a quarter to buy a candy bar
yeah.
in 1979. But, 20 years later, 1999, in many cases, it was still a lousy quarter to play older games. It didn't inflate.
No.
Then it went to 50 cents. Black Knight 1980 was 50 cents to play. Missile Command in 1980 was 50 cents to play. And so was Battlezone. But the public balked, and everybody switched them back to a quarter.
Oh, yeah. I remember here that when the Daytonas started to appear, they played for 2 coins each. So that's like a 50-cent game like that. And it was expensive, and it was like, I don't know, it was like a slot machine. It took in coins like a nightmare. It was one of the great machines here.
One quarter would get stuck, and I lost my quarter. I put 2 in, and I didn't get a credit. Oh my God, a nightmare. So
you started as an operator,
yes,
machine operator, and then how the business was changing towards collectors.
Yeah, I in 1982, I brought in a partner who had cash so we could buy more games. And we had a big arcade in a popular summer place called New Hope, Pennsylvania.
The New Hope, like like Star Wars.
That's right. We opened up, Star Wars, The New Hope.
Yeah.
We were doing okay, but then the business started to slide. In 83, that was the beginning. In 83 and 84, money dropped. People were playing the games at their house.
Yeah.
And we were losing business unbelievably. And the money...
The Atari era and all that stuff, all this early consoles, and people start playing at their home.
That's right. And because of that, the locations thought it was our problem. They wanted new games. And I said, we're not going to, my partner and I were looking at each other, buying brand new games was not cheap then.
No.
And the game's only making $50 or $100 gross a week, and you're going to pay $3,000 for a new game. You're never going to pay it off.
No.
So I came up with the idea in August of '84. I told my partner, we got to get rid of this stuff. And he says, who's going to buy this stuff? So I lived on a very busy street. And I said, let me see if I can sell some. I had a very long driveway. And we rolled a couple games out to the curb.
Yeah.
Angled them, and we put arcade games $100 and up. And it just went crazy. People started stopping in droves. My driveway was long enough where I could have 50 machines lined up on each side.
Oh, boy.
And various power cords from different directions to plug the games in.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And we were able to harvest many, many sales. We were selling so many games, vendors were bringing pickup trucks over of games in their warehouse. For instance, I would pay $25 for black and white games. Asteroids, Rip-Off, Star Castle, Space Invaders, Deluxe Asteroids. $25 each. They had to work. All they did is unload them. I plugged them in. They work. $25. I was selling the black and white games between $100 and $150 each.
That's a nice profit.
Yes, and we wipe them off. We weren't putting casters on them. We would clean them. Now, a couple of times the button was broken. We changed the button, but we weren't rebuilding anything. We weren't changing power supplies. Sold as is, where is. And we ended up selling well over 400 machines in that 4-month period. We did it from August to almost Christmas. We had gloves on because and you could see the air.
You are freezing.
And the games were we left them out day and night. They never didn't come in. We covered them with tarpaulins during the week.
You have to really take the snow off before playing.
Believe it or not, out of all those that 4-month period, my father took 2 slides. So I only have 2 pictures showing the lines of games. Out of all that time, I wish I had.
Amazing, amazing. Oh, I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
It was neat.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and you played and own a wide variety of games.
Yes.
Which are your favorites? Your from let's talk about pinball. The electromechanicals one, classic 80s games, 90s. Or the newer ones? What's the ones you really like?
Well, the ones that I really like are newer games. For the most part, I think the oldest game that I love is PINBALL, which is 86.
Okay. Yeah.
I like a lot of games, a lot of more obscure games like TX Sector.
Yeah.
And Robo.
I
always loved them.
Yeah. I don't know. I like them too. There's some weird games that I love them. Yeah.
But then there's some oddball games like Time Warp with the banana flippers. It's actually a nice game.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to own one, but it's a nice game to play if it's working right.
Yeah.
There's some awful games too. Some really awful. The worst pinball ever made was so dreadful. It's a Bally Motor Dome.
Oh, Motor Dome, yeah.
Just horrible.
I never seen one here in Argentina. They never get here.
Ugly backlash, ugly sound, horrible play. It's atrocious, absolutely atrocious.
Well,
everyone should be destroyed.
No, not that much. We can keep the boards for another game, for instance.
Right. Harvesting games happens a lot.
Yeah,
especially now because the batteries have killed so many games.
Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing you could do now that the replacement boards. For instance, we just bought a new logic board for the Italian Zaccaria game, Farfalla.
Oh yeah, I've seen the video you sent. That's a beautiful machine.
Beautiful game. I just finished another Zaccaria, but it has the new logic board and a beautiful board. And that board will run almost all the Zaccaria pinball machines. Not everyone, almost everyone.
That's great. Well, wonderful. In Spain, it's happening something like that. There's some people I don't recall the name now, but they made a couple of MPU processor boards for these games that Juan Carlos showed you a few moments ago, and other kind of games that were no replacement boards, and they bring them back to life, all those machines, and it's really nice because we all know the American-made machines, and you have so many replacement parts and new boards and all the stuff. But all Zaccaria games, Spanish games are harder to find. So that's nice that there are some people spending so much time and effort and intelligence in making those.
Yes, they actually should be considered heroes.
Yeah,
they are saving a whole part of our society we could have lost.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of our memories for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
some of the distributors, like Sonic, was made in Brazil or Argentina?
In Spain. Sonic were made in Spain. Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. I couldn't remember. We rarely see Sonics.
Yeah.
What's the brand in South America?
Oh, and so they're made in Brazil. I don't Taito.
Taito?
Taito. It's made in Brazil.
Somebody said it's called Tatio.
Oh, because I don't know, because it's a Brazilian word and I know what it means. If you read it in Spanish, it's Taito. Taito, like every single word says that. But I don't know, perhaps in Brazil it has some different sound. I don't know. I don't know if even it has something to do with Taito, the video game manufacturer.
It has to.
But you know, they made clones of every single game made in the USA. Like Xenon has the Taito version, and some other ones have some of those versions too. Like there's a Black Knight version, like weird.
Yes. And my guess is, I always wonder, did they pay for the rights? You know, or is it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I've seen the Star Wars one. They did a Star Wars one, I think. Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. But that's a conversion, I think. That's a conversion for a Gottlieb game, I think. Yeah, it's a beautiful game, although.
It's nice because at the Pinball Expo, you will see a lot of overseas games from the Robert Burke collection.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lot of them. I was surprised how many of the games that he owns.
Oh, Robert tried to buy Juan Carlos' collection once. And Juan Carlos said, never in my life. He doesn't want. No, he doesn't want to sell. He's precious.
Well, once I'm gone, my wife will sell everything I have.
Well,
everything.
But it doesn't matter. You be in heaven watching all from upstairs. You know? No, have fun. I have my fun and my time. You have your fun. Yeah, that's it.
Do you know? We've sold almost, we're right under 30,000 machines.
That's unbelievable.
Almost 15,000 customers. I think it's 14 something.
Yeah, that's incredible.
43 years. But of course, the first 6 years, first 5 years, we weren't really selling to homes. We did sell, while I was vending machines, we did sell one or two brand new games here and there. I remember one man bought a brand new Miss Pac-Man back in like 82
Wow.
It was like $33.49 or 34 or something, because we tacked on a couple hundred for ourselves. And I remember he needed a service call. He said, the game doesn't work. He says, I put the quarters and nothing happens, because he was putting quarters in. When I went over, the problem was the cash pan was full of quarters. He was putting quarters in to play the game, and he never opened.
He was stuck, yeah.
It filled up to the coin box right up to the top, and when it still had the steel lid on it, so the quarters had jammed up the coin mech. So I had in my car one of the Klopp coin counters, where you put quarters in, you spin it, and it puts it in tubes. I counted out $550 in quarters. So the Miss Pac-Man cash pan holds $550.
That's all you know.
Done. So I thought that was so dumb, but what's wrong with people?
They don't.
Game off. I said, well,
once I had to make a video showing to some of my one of my customers, where's the tilt pendulum and how to adjust it. He never seen a game and a tilt unit, and he has like 12 games in his home. Never seen a tilt unit. Never seen how. What's that? Well, I made a video for him. So, not everybody has those skills,
Well, and remember, a lot of people don't want it. They don't want to. Do you know the number one service call? And I swear to God, this is true. Our number one service call is that the game is dead. And I said, did you turn the on-off switch on? She says, oh, it has an on-off switch. No, we turn the games off from a switch on the wall, and they all go on and off. I say, well, the game has its own switch. Why don't you try the switch? She says, oh, no one would have turned the switch on. Nobody. I said, just try it. Yeah. And they try it, and of course the game comes on, and then they say to me, well, who turned it off? And I can say, well, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Wasn't there.
Somebody knew the switch was there, Marcelo, and then they flipped the switch, and they were unaware of it. And that's 10, 20, 30 years later. We get calls. As a matter of fact, I was sharing with Marcelo. We're buying back. I still do Rolodex cards.
Yeah.
I sold a pinball machine. This Christmas will be 30 years ago, and they're selling it back to me. We're buying it back tomorrow. So, it's rather fascinating that you have this steady flow of machines here that come and go.
Absolutely.
I bet he knows where the on-off switch is.
Yeah, sure. By this time, he already knows.
The number two call is they can't find the key.
Oh,
they lose the key
all the time.
We wouldn't have it either. So I solved that problem about 2 years ago. I started using locks with no keys. They lock the door securely, and they're turn locks, and they have a pressure point. So when you turn it to lock it, it stays locked. It doesn't drop down.
Yeah.
It's not like you take the keepers out of a key lock. And this way, they can't lose the key.
Yeah, you can use any key. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice idea. I will use that. I will use that.
Yeah.
I will use that.
So
well, Juan Carlos is asking if it's easy to find Spanish games over the U.S.
Rarely. Do you know where the number one games of Spanish locations are? Oh, no. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have fun with that game. Believe it or not, the number one location where we get the Spanish games in is from people's houses. It was in their game room for 20 years or 30 years. And people call and say, we're moving. We want to get these games out. I had 2 calls today. I had the call for this one, and then another fellow has 4 video games in his basement, and he wants them out. So I say, take pictures of them when they're turned on, and I'll give you prices. Yeah. So most of our games now, most of them are coming out of people's basements and game rooms. We rarely find a vendor that has a warehouse full of games, at least in America. They've just dried up because real estate's valuable. Nobody's going to tie up, a warehouse or location and pay rent on equipment that's not making any money anymore, and they're never going to fix or use again.
Yeah.
So that has dried up. Finding that wonderful warehouse of untouched Star Wars and Tempest and Asteroids.
Those warehouses we all dream about,
And if you do find something like that, you find out it was leaking or in a foot of water.
Yeah. Well,
junk.
Here in Argentina, there are still a couple of warehouses like that from still big operators. They still have the games in their warehouse, and I don't know why. And they still spend like 30 years there, getting dirty and getting leaks and all that stuff. And they say that because they own the place. No, this will be much more pricey in a couple of years. But come on, it's been 40 years, 30 years it kept that there.
I can't tell you.
It's not a good business.
A lot of vendors, I always did an imitation. He was one of the biggest coin-op operators, I think, in the country, Stan Harris. He had thousands of locations and really nice guy. And his head honcho, his name was Harvey Fisher. He always had a big cigar in his mouth. I always used to do imitations of him because, he always had a gun laying out on his desk in the open too. Always had a gun. I would go over there and bug him to buy some games. He'd have that cigar in his mouth. He'd pull it out of his mouth and say, "What do you want now, Tuckey? You want some of my games?" And put it back in his mouth. And I said, "Well, I want to buy some cheap pins." Everybody wants cheap pins. I could put a Spider-Man and a Street Fighter in any location in Philadelphia and make $100 a week. Boom, right back in his mouth. But we got along really well. So I bought a lot of games for Christmas, and we would pay $200 a piece for pinballs like Jacks to Open and Ice Fever. Older Gottliebs. But cabinets were beat. Thank you, Linda. Have a good weekend. So the cabinets were beat. He actually stored them. He had them in the ready line. They had steel cables holding the head to the body. Talk about scratching the old paint.
Yeah.
But they were $200 each. And I brought them in. We wiped them down, changed a few rubbers, and sold them at Christmas time for $800 a piece.
Yeah.
And $7.99, and we put a lot of pinball machines, cheap pinballs, into customers' homes, and I think that kind of nurtured the desire and want to play pinball. I kind of thought I was part of that. And it was nice to see the machines getting that kind of use again in homes, and then they would seek out pinball places, as you know. There were not a lot of arcades. The arcades were disappearing.
Not anymore. They're here too. There are just a few places. A few, when you used to be a lot of places.
Well, in 1987, I pioneered the flat rate price to play anything you want free. Pay one price to come in. And this is when I did the parties, the birthday parties.
Really?
I couldn't be a real arcade to the public, but somebody could rent my facility and pay one price for 40 people, and everything was on free play.
That's great.
We had $5 pizzas back then. So if you wanted food, we had $5 pizzas from a local pizza parlor. And up till today, we've done over 25,000 free play parties. And in 35 years. We started them in 1987. So the free play concept was always there.
I
started it.
You were a pioneer for sure. And talking about pioneering, how you started promoting, you made some videos promoting TNT before even YouTube.
Believe it or not, I started making infomercials. But at first, I had a competitor at the time, Bob Borden, and we were kind of at odds with each other. But he actually started commercials first.
Oh,
He put commercials on cable access. Back then, it was dirt cheap. You wouldn't believe how cheap it was to be on TV. And because people didn't have Netflix and Hulu and all this other stuff, there was not that many channels broadcast.
Yeah, I remember.
Broadcast, and you had a handful of cable shows. So he started making these 30-second and 60-second spots, and I saw that, and I started it too. So in 89, 90, 91, I started running 30-second spots and 60-second, cheaply produced, and I had the company came in and filmed them. So I used the same episodes. Have a party here, buy a game. But they were very short. In 95, that's when I decided to put a regular half-hour program on the air.
That's awesome.
95 is when I started the infomercial. And because of that, I ran that same show for about 8 years, 7 days a week at midnight. And
that's too much work. That's too much work. It
was so cheap. So, but then it got me on the map. I actually got into something called the Broadcast Pioneers of Philadelphia because I had produced the cheapest infomercial in the country. The budget was $600.
That's great.
It was really neat. So I was acknowledged that way, at least. People still remember it.
Yeah, I've seen a few. I think you have a few over there on YouTube.
Yes, you can watch the channel. We have some old episodes up. We also did trade shows before the infomercial where we would put a TV set in our booth around games, and the TV would play a loop of our shop and walking around. And we had a couple gags in there, too. But nothing like we've been tried to do now, although some people don't like our gags.
Oh, no. We love it. We love it. We love it. And how do you switch to YouTube? How you started in YouTube?
In 2010, if you wanted to be on YouTube, you were only allowed to have 15 minutes. That was it. There was you couldn't have a longer program than 15 minutes. So if you had, I had filmed some how to play pinball footage back in '89.
Whoa.
I filmed it for myself, believe it or not, how to play certain games. When I uploaded them to YouTube, if they were longer than 15 minutes, I had to have part 1 and 2. They also, the editing program I had there was nothing. There was virtually nothing I could do in terms of adding things.
Effects or whatever,
So the 2010 YouTube effort wasn't the greatest, but we got better and better at it. So I finally got a program that I could put titles in and fade in and fade out and such. I'm still using it now. But as I said, everything was crude at first.
And how do you handle all the good feedback and the bad feedback about your videos?
Well, I take it in stride. I always insult people when I do a lot of thumbs down in my videos. I said, oh, gosh, that's going to get another thumbs down. I always tend to think I have people that just click on my video just to give me the thumbs down. I always joke. I said, they have their pants down at their ankles. So
I mean, there's people that has nothing to do but just throw out some hatred over there.
It's all relative. I have a bunch of haters, and when I can edit the comments, so all the comments have to be approved by me. I rarely get comments now because they know it won't appear on the video. See, if you don't have it set that way, somebody could comment on a video you did 7 years ago, and you would never know they said something bad about you.
Yeah.
That's why, without you looking at the comments every day, nobody can do it. We have over 1,700 episodes now. So I just approve every comment before it goes up. And then if I get some nasty ones, I just block them for good. They can still watch the video. They just can't comment.
That's not a big deal. And
you don't get any bad comments, do you, Marcelo?
What? I did get it.
Do you get any bad comments?
Oh, yeah, from time to time. But I don't care. You know what you do. Just like you. You know what you do and you know what you don't. Yeah. So you know who you are. And it's always nice to hear some comments that adds something to what you do. Oh, it will be better if you do this. Oh, I would like to see that. That's positive. I didn't like too much this one, but I liked it. So that's positive. You always grow when someone gives you a nice feedback, although it's not the best that you expect. But when it's just hatred, it makes no sense.
That's right. If it's just rude and nasty, you said, I don't need this.
No, you live your life, try to be happy, just go ahead, And I've seen you at PinFest and other pinball shows, and you're always crowded with people. You are famous, you know it.
I'm a magnet.
Yeah, you're a magnet. Because let's say that you're a funny guy, and you are very easygoing, and I always tell people, you always, I don't know, so many people around the world, and you always have some time to say, oh, Marcelo, nice this one, nice thing. You have some nice words to everyone. Like that's nice, and that shows when you are nice to other people and you acknowledge the other people, and how you deal with this fame around you.
Well, it only happens when I go to pinball shows. So I can deal with it for a few days. But sometimes locally, if I go to the diner or something, especially when I was on local TV, people did spot me because I was in their rooms. Now, their living rooms. See, when you're on local TV, anybody can stumble across your show, but you had to pay to be on. With YouTube, it's free. As a matter of fact, I make about $500 a month. The views, maybe $500. So I'm never going to be rich from that. But the people that find me on YouTube are looking for a game, or they're searching for something. So I'm less apt to be recognized now locally because they're not going to see me by stumbling on me unless they're on YouTube. So it's nice. It's really neat, though. I'm very humbled when I go. At the Texas show, I was just mobbed, and it was hard the first day or two. Then I got used to seeing me. But I would go in the lobby, and I could take 2 steps, and then I'm signing autograph and doing pictures, and take 2 more steps, and the people that ran the Texas show were shocked that people actually went to the Texas show because I was going to be there. Really neat. I said, "Wow, I'm a draw." I am going to the Pintastic show in 3 weeks, and we're going to do a seminar there.
Oh, that's right.
And we love that show. That's so much fun. That's in Connecticut.
Okay.
We'll have a lot of fun at that show, and I'm sure I'll see a lot of our friends. I'm hoping my new cards come in time. I ordered new cards.
Great.
Little cards.
I don't have any.
You don't have any?
No, that's
we
not.
We need a card for you with all the art, the beautiful playfield painting you do. The restoration work is just amazing.
Thank you.
See, you have this wonderful talent, and you can at least share it. I have a question. Are the games you restore, Marcelo, are they for you, or are you selling them, or Are they for friends?
No, most of the games I restore are for customers, and a couple of them are for me. In fact, I have here a Paragon playfield that's for me. That was trashed, absolutely trashed.
Wow.
That
I have
was
to look down to see it. Okay, I see it.
there you have it.
Wow.
Shiny.
That looks, because I can see the clear coat. It looks
Yeah.
like one of those brand new repro.
Well, it's, in fact, the other day we made a video showing 8-ball deluxe restoration versus a CPR new playfield. And what's the difference you find? And well, it is going other place, but CPR makes a great job, and it's nice to have a solution for a playfield that it's almost dead, but the colors sometimes get a little, let's say, modernized. And in fact, in 8-ball deluxe, the main difference is that white is not white; it's ivory. And the new CPR playfields have plain white colors when it should be ivory, because the pool balls are ivory color.
That's right.
And so when you see the restored playfield and the CPR, the original restored, even though it was trashed out, it looks amazing. So that's why most people bring those playfields to me, because when you put it on the game, they look like brand new, and it feels like the original one. It like doesn't have that newer feeling, and that's what I try to do. And that's why people reach out to me. You know,
That's nice. That's really nice.
that's what I try to do, because I came from a restorer family. My father used to have an antique shop, so he restore antique things. That's my concept. I don't know. It's better or worse. It's what I do. I don't know.
Well, you do an amazing, wonderful job.
Thank you.
But the patience, I don't know where you get the time from.
Oh, I work like the Ford factory. You know, I have 4 or 5 playfields. Work a little bit in every one, and then all get clear coated at the same time. You know, like a factory. That's the only way to make it affordable.
That's a beautiful job.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we were talking about pinball shows. What's your favorite pinball show?
Well, I really like Pinball Expo in Chicago. I can't say I don't, because that has in the old days, when there were 3 or 4 manufacturers at the show, it was very exciting, and we got to see whitewoods and games we never saw before because there was no internet.
Yeah.
So years ago, there was no internet, so you didn't know. You never saw a Data East King Kong. You just didn't see it. There's only 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know.
What's fascinating is it seems that I was the only one at the shows with a video camera.
Oh.
People were taking stills, so I took that amazing tour of Data East. I wasn't making the videos for everybody to see. I was making them for me, because there was no way to broadcast them.
Yeah.
I was filming them for my perusal and my interest. I wish I took more.
Yeah.
Back then, I was just making videos, and I was able to film quite a bit of stuff that there is no video record of today. None.
Oh,
Alvin G and Company tour I did right before they closed forever. That there's no other video footage.
No, that might be very interesting.
And some of it's shaky. I'm just wobbling around or whatever. But the show I've grown to love really is the Pintastic show in Connecticut, and it's for 2 reasons. It's very close to a very good friend of mine. He's helped keep us open. Mike Brashad at Automated Services. We go up. He lets me stay overnight in his home, Frank and I, and He's there with his wonderful wife, very supportive, Sue, and Jack Canary of Jersey Jack. He stays over. So I get to hear all these incredible stories that I can't film, but I hear all this stuff and I'm going, oh, I'm bursting into steams. I want to tell everybody. But I would never give away those kind of secrets. Then you won't have any friends in the business.
Oh, sure.
Then we drive up to the Massachusetts show, and it's in a really funky hotel. It's such an odd hotel, but it's neat. It's really neat. There's an indoor pool around all of the rooms. So,
wow.
And then they have concerts there. And the most important thing is they have 24-hour pinball playing.
Wow.
If you're really into pinball, one room, if you buy the deluxe ticket, you can go down and play at 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning and play games that you can get to.
Yeah.
Because during the day, a lot of these games are busy.
Yeah, sure.
And it's carpeted. It's laid out very well. It's one floor. Some of the rooms are on the second floor, but it's not. It's a nice show.
That's great.
There's places nearby you can drive to for food, and or you can eat in the restaurant there. So now the Texas show I was impressed with. That was my first time.
Oh.
And, that was very nice. The facility was nice, and the hotel.
And I think that every pinball show has like its flavor, you know.
Yes,
like some differences between. I've been only just in to the Texas show and to the Pin Fest in Allentown, and I love them both. And I feel they were really different. I don't know.
Well, the Pin Fest, of course, doesn't have seminar. There's no hotels, and you're walking on concrete all day, so you're exhausted. Now, the Pinball Expo also had the concrete curse, I call that. The new hotel. We liked the old hotel so much more, the Westin. The location, the rooms were fine. The new hotel is a beautiful hotel, but you had to walk forever to get to the Pinball Expo. Oh. It was like a really long walk, and I'm kind of not the greatest walking right now. So
it sounds like an exercise, you know.
Well, I need my cane for that show.
Oh,
so but that's the way it is. So
yeah,
I'm not in your shape, Marcelo.
No, I try to keep up. I always say I have to get to the 50, at least in a decent shape. And I've done it. I crossed 50 years old, so I have to keep up.
Well, you're in one of the elite small percentage of men in your shape. You and your partner, you're in great shape. You'll live a long life.
You have to be in shape to keep moving games 200 pounds each, you know.
Yeah, I kind of stopped moving games. I still do it in a pinch, but I don't want to be doing that anymore.
Not anymore.
I will still do it if I have to.
Yeah, sure. So we were talking about your videos you made several years ago, like in '89, about the game rules. I've seen so many of your videos, and you know every single rule of every game. How's that? How's that possible?
Well, I've missed a few. As a matter of fact, I have a Gottlieb here. I didn't realize I never did a video on the rules. Star Trek.
Oh.
And I went in the back, and I'm kind of in the dark. I started playing, and I said, I don't know anything about this game.
Yeah.
Because they made so few of them, and most of them got junked.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to work on the rule set for that for a video, upcoming video. But I don't memorize it all. Sometimes I have to replay the game to remember. I did that with Farfalla because I forgot which switch. Like on that game, there's only one switch that moves the lights in the pop bumpers.
Oh.
One switch.
Only one.
And it's behind a rubber under the upper playfield.
Oh,
Because the guy said, how come the lights aren't moving on the pump pump? I said, I don't know. So I went around to figure it out. There's one switch. They have it buried up there. So if you don't hit the switch, the lights will stay in the same place.
Yeah.
So, but you just never really remember it all. But sometimes I remember tweaks or fixes.
Yeah.
Our upcoming seminar at Pintastic, and it will be uploaded at some point to their website. Frank and I are going to do a show with the TNT twins, Tim and Tom, and John. The five of us are going to do a show about inexpensive updates you can do to your game, including visual ones, stuff that's cheap to do. And when I say cheap, it's going to be $10 or less. Stuff that anybody can do.
Yeah.
Improves the gameplay, improves the look of the game, or whatever. So we're going to highlight all these different things. Now, we're going to miss stuff too, but it'll also be updates the factory wanted you to do when you got your game in. A lot of people like F-14 Tomcat. I think we were talking about that earlier. Every one I've opened, every one I've gotten in, none of them have had the factory update on the diverters. None of them.
No.
It just requires about 3 seconds with your index finger. Bending the metal, the factory installed the metal, but they forgot to bend it. So it's the diverter's running right. And I'm constantly amazed. Nobody must have saw that memo.
Nobody reads the manuals.
Now, what's interesting, actually, I'm going to show you something. Let me get it.
Okay.
I just got this from a serviceman. I've never seen this in my life. It is a manual. Look, it's pages and pages. I'll bet you most people in the world have never seen these updates. Look at this.
Oh.
Page after page. This is only 2 years worth. So, like this one says, for your information, attached is the index of service tips for 82. Oh, well, okay. Well, that's just information, but it lists everything. Quicks, monitor, updates, Alpine ski, joystick, T connectors, Grand Champion troubleshooting blocks, Quicks again, Colony 7, Wild Western, Cram. Who ever heard of that game? I had one. Electric Video. All these updates, I'm willing to bet most of the people in the world have never seen this book.
No, I'm sure.
Just pages of them. Oh, John, the fella here, John, is saying he never saw it either.
What's the most unusual pinball you had? The rarest one. That one piece that you never...
Oh, that's easy. I had, because Eastern Music was in Philadelphia, they got 2 of every game made from Williams. And I ended up getting both because they couldn't sell them. I got 2 cocktail jousts for like $300 a piece. And I got 2 upright pinball Varcons for like $300 a piece because nobody wanted them. See, they would sell them. They'd go in location at the full price.
Yeah.
And then they'd return them because they didn't make any money.
No.
And they didn't. Joust was a flop, a huge flop.
Yeah.
So was Varcon.
There was a Joust in Texas show. There was one.
Yes. And now, of course, a huge flop went from nothing to worth $8,000 to $12,000.
Because it's a rare piece, just for that.
People want it now because they realize it's Barry Osler's beautiful game, and it's a wonderful game, and nobody knew, nobody appreciated it. No. See, remember, Marcelo, this equipment was not made for you.
No,
was not made for a collector to admire the beauty of it. It was made for one reason, to make money.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't make money, out it went.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. All these Spectrum, Bally Spectrum.
Oh, beautiful.
The one fellow that worked there, he said 500 or 600 of them were parted out. They're brand new machines, and they ended up taking all the boards out of them and throwing them away. They were finished from the assembly line. They never left the building.
No.
Because it was a disaster. Nobody wanted to learn how to play it.
No. It's beautiful, but it's very complex, and you have to learn the game. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of lights.
Think about this. What would a collector pay for a brand new Spectrum in the box?
Yeah, a fortune.
10,000? I mean, here you got a brand new, gorgeous, the colors. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. Yeah. And now you'd figure out how to play it. See, the collector takes it home and he spends 5 hours figuring it out.
Yeah, sure.
But in the old days, you put in coins and nobody was interested.
No. You put a coin, you get nothing. You put the second coin, you get nothing. You never play it again.
Right. It was just the way it was. And now this whole market took a complete 180 degree.
Yeah.
Most machines go right into a home. They never see a coin op. They never see a quarters. And that's because it's commercial equipment, but it's become home user equipment.
Yeah. It's a totally different world. It's a totally different world. Yeah, for sure. So you have other interests. We were talking about the film, that you were a projectionist.
Yes, for not commercially, but I ran a movie theater in Maine for 2 summers.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it was the summer Carrie came out, and believe it or not, Stephen King lived in the town the theater was in.
Oh.
So Stephen King would come to our movie theater all the time. And he came when we were running Carrie. Back then, the owner of the theater, we were using 1927 simplex projectors, outfitted with a sound head. So we had 2 of these monolith. I mean, they were huge.
Yeah, they were huge. Yeah.
Big giant lamp house using actual carbon arcs to create the light.
Yeah.
We had problem with one projector. It wasn't taking up. So Carrie was shipped on 5 reels. So we ran 2 and 4 on the bad projector. And I did reel 2, and the owner of the theater did reel 4. We had to turn the reel like this real fast. And you had to sit there and look at the reel, because if you stopped for even a moment, the film would start the projector. So we managed to run the movie, and Stephen King was right there in the theater watching it. So it asked him to talk to the people while we tried to fix it. He couldn't. But do you know, now this of course goes back to 79, but he was able to buy the part and have it shipped in on Monday. They still stocked the parts.
Oh, sure.
27 projector.
Yeah. Because those machines were used, they were almost 1930s projectors used until the late 70s.
That's right. And his theater was the first theater to get a platter stereo system. The first theater in Maine to get stereo and then a flat platter where one giant reel.
Yeah, that's great.
Actually, a platter. You'd never be able to pick up the reel. It's too heavy.
Way easier.
Oh yeah.
And so you started collecting films for on your own, or it was just a hobby?
I bought my first projector when I was 14 years old, 1969.
Oh.
And I still have some of the original films I bought.
That's good.
And that's where I started running them for birthday parties and people.
Yeah.
So I ran hundreds of birthday parties where I'd bring a reel of 5 cartoons. I started the birthday parties after I got my driver's license, so I could drive around with a projector and the cartoons. But see, back then there was no video.
No.
You had to have a birthday party entertainment.
Yeah.
And it was half the price of a magician.
Yeah.
So I'd come out for $20 and run a 30-minute reel of cartoons, and they loved it. I had a fast lens that also made a big picture, 5-foot picture, bright and clear, in the living room. They just had to pull the curtains down. And the kids loved it because I always ran good cartoons.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was a kid, it was also that kind of entertainment at a birthday party.
Right.
And I used to have my Super 8 projector and a couple of films. And I remember that you went to this store and you exchanged films. You gave in 2 of these and you get 1 of the others and pay some amount from the difference. And I used to get Mad Magician, you know, the Vincent Price movie.
Yes, the Mad Magician was one of they made a shorter version.
Yeah, this I think 17 or 20-minute version with the 3D glasses. I was absolutely thrilled. I was like 13 years old. I was absolutely thrilled.
It was neat because it was like going to the movies.
Yeah.
And you only had 3 or 4 TV channels back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It changed things. Things changed for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that's I'm telling the people because when I was at the TNT shop back in 2019, Todd saw my Vincent Price tattoo on one of the legs and started talking about films. And so we ended up knowing that we all collect films. Like behind all these pinball machines, there's tons of 35 millimeter scans. So I just let Super 8 away, and I'm 35 millimeter collector now.
Yeah,
which is
tough. It's heavy. It's the real changes are often.
Oh yeah.
See now, this here, this is a 17-minute Three Stooges. 17, and this is an older print, a theater print because it has the theater countdowns.
Oh yeah, the leader.
So your audience knows if you watch a countdown leader and it starts with 8 and it goes 8 and it's like a clock sweep, 7, 6, 5, like that. That means it's a TV print.
Oh.
A theater print starts at 11.
Oh, I didn't know that. I learned something.
And then it also says adjust sound for this theater. That's what the small reading is. If you're running a 35 millimeter, you put the 9. You put the number 9 in the aperture plate.
Okay.
And that means that when the first cue mark hits, if you have 9 on your second projector, you see the first cue mark in, you turn the projector on, and the second projector comes to speed. And it goes 9, 8, 7. But then there's black in between each number. Can you see the black in between?
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you get to the second cue mark, you push the button, and the projectors have dowsers. So one light goes on, the other opens, and it's perfectly timed. And the movie companies always plan to have a few seconds of silence at the reel change in case you boob it up.
Yeah, and you never notice. You never notice.
Never notice.
Yeah. Going back to the pinball world.
We're back to the pinball world.
We leave all the films behind and go back to this. I know this is a kind of a very difficult question, but what do you have one favorite pinball?
Well, of course.
Oh.
My number one pinball is made by Capcom. It's called Big Bang Bar.
Oh yeah.
Okay. My number 2 is Theater of Magic.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Pinbot. No, actually Funhouse. I'll put Funhouse.
Okay.
Number 4 is The Class of 1812.
Oh, I love it.
Number 5 is Pinbot. And number 6 is a newcomer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to buy a new one for myself. It's an amazing, wonderful, wonderful game made by Spooky Pinball called Total Nuclear Annihilation.
Oh yeah, I
That
think
is
I haven't had a
wonderful game.
chance to play it yet.
Well, baby, when you play it, you're going to want it. You just be careful, because you're going to want it.
Oh, I already want a Godzilla. I already want a Mandalorian. So I'm doomed.
You're going to want TNA is what you're going to want. They're going to be, I think, 10 grand. They're going to make 500 of them.
Oh,
and of course, the second run is going to be better than the first run because they figure out everything.
Yeah.
So I can't wait until they start making them, because that is going to be the game I'll keep. It's
my friend Sebastian used to have one at his home, and I didn't have the chance to play it. He lives in Miami, but I didn't have the chance to play it.
See, I just told you something you need to know. Now you're going to look for one, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. There's not a single one in Argentina, so I have to fly away.
Fantastic. There was one at Pintastic last year. I'm sure there'll be one there this year.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to Pintastic. Perhaps I'm going to make it to Chicago. Perhaps, fingers crossed.
Did he pick out the weekend yet in Chicago?
I think we have it, yeah.
He does have it? Okay.
Yeah, I think they have the dates. It's from Wednesday till Saturday or Sunday.
Well, they're usually always till Sunday, because Sunday is the breakdown day.
Yeah.
But, you can usually wrap things up. I was there most of Sunday this past October, and we were still doing stuff. There was still some stuff to do.
Yeah.
Kind of a wind-down day. But I'll tell you something. I'm so glad I'm not setting up booths. Because, oh, my gosh. It would drain me. Just be in the booth. You set the booth up. You're in the booth all day and night. You can't walk around and do stuff. And then you're packing your booth up. Oh.
Yeah, that's intense.
I'll watch everybody else do their booth.
Well, we're finishing this interview. So first of all, I want to thank you again for this time you're taking between your work in the middle of the day. So we've seen so much at TNT on YouTube. What can we expect in the future? What else you have for us?
Well, the area behind you, we have plans to make this into a studio.
Uh-oh.
That I can, where we can film our sales, our best offer offerings, because my goal is to try to branch out slightly, not necessarily do more videos, but change the character of them. See, we have, how many videos can you make of Pinball?
Yeah.
I have tons of them now. We have a lot of videos. But what I wanted to try to explore is a database where if somebody said, I want to know how to, let's say, for instance, do the ground mod on a Gottlieb game, I could have a database where they could go and find a whole bunch of my tips listed in order.
Oh.
And then in alphabetical order, and say ground mod. And they could click on it, and it would hyperlink it right to that moment in the video.
Oh, that's great.
Remember, one of my 1 hour videos, at the 32-minute mark, I may have a really important piece of information, and nobody's going to watch the whole hour video to find it.
Yeah.
But if they could click a link and it would take you right to that moment, it would be perfect. My original book, the book I published a few years ago, the publisher, it was a disaster, just completely wrong, fouled it all up. I wanted to have...
I remember that circumstance, yeah.
The whole idea was I had QR codes, so as I told the story, there'd be a QR code they click on, and they would go to that moment I was talking about in the book. But he said he consulted their team, and QR codes are going out. Nobody will be using QR codes. They're done. Completely, totally dumping idiot.
Yeah.
Because QR codes came back huge. Everybody's using them, including Stern. Everybody's using QR codes.
Absolutely.
Right, and so it's just completely useless. But so the book was complete disaster. But see, I could do it. Somebody said make another book. I said I'm not going to do that. I'd rather stay with video. Everything's changing. I hired a new company to put our website, to make our website friendly for the phone.
Yeah, phone friendly.
Because desktops are going bye-bye.
Yeah.
So the new website, he's planning it now to get me a price. He's going to make a new website that'll cater to the phone user. Of course, people are watching videos on their phone too.
Yeah, all the time. Know.
Yeah, the iPads are still out there. Desktops, of course, I have a desktop.
Yeah.
I'm always going to have one because I need that to edit and such. But the average homeowner is not going to sit at a desk and watch my videos or research. They want to sit in their sofa.
Absolutely.
Do their research.
It's true. Yeah. It's what we do all the day. We Google everything, Well, thank you very much, Todd.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon in any Pin Fest, Pin Show, or whatever around there. I'll try to be there in Chicago. Let's hope for the best. Juan Carlos will be in Chicago next October.
You better be.
Yeah. He will be there, and he will reach out to you for sure.
Bueno.
Love it. And I appreciate you having me on the show today.
Well, it was a pleasure.
Bueno, antes de nada, vamos a poner un vídeo, ¿vale? Y que nos explique esto. Dile que nos explique esto y pongo el vídeo.
He's gonna play a video right now, and you have to explain what's that.
Pinball. Televisión. Pinball. Televisión. Presentendo. Pinball. Televisión.
Espectacular.
I should have sent you an MP2 file because that one wasn't clear.
No, it's absolutely great. It's absolutely I woke up at 6 a.m. and I saw the videos, like I was thrilled.
Well, I've been promising Marcelo that for ages. I said, I got to do it now. I got to do it tonight. But I'll send you a clearer file. I thought the MP4 would be clear.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Marcelo, contrátalo ya.
Oh, he said we should hire you.
See, I had to learn a new Spanish word. So.
Well,
Todd, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
See you in Chicago. Mi inglés es bueno, ¿eh?
Yes. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Hey.
I'm just going to reposition the camera. My other camera wouldn't work.
Oh.
So it just takes me a second. This is the camera I shoot the movies with.
Don't worry, we are offline now. We're recording, so we're gonna edit. This is my friend Juan Carlos here.
Hey guys.
He's our host
nice
from Spain.
Ah, okay.
He's live from Spain. He's about the evening there, and he's live there, and he owns all those pinball machines you see over there. He's a great collector of Spanish games.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Getting the sound is working. I'm just trying to get this. The other camera didn't work.
Oh, it looks nice. It looks nice.
So this is like a. Can you hear me clearly though?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
It's not a very nice backdrop, is it?
Yeah, it's nice. Well, that's his place. That's Pinball VR. VR is a small town in the southeast in Spain, and he had like 100 machines there. You see?
Yes.
He has a great collection of Spanish games.
Now, is it open to the public?
Yeah.
I see the Coke machine.
These are also Spanish games. They made a new MPU board for those games that was unavailable anywhere. So they're bringing back to life those games. That's nice.
Let's just hope not a lot of people threw them out. A lot of people threw those games out when they stopped working.
Sure. That's what happened all the time.
I know.
We had just a few Spanish games here in Argentina. Most of the games we have here are from the US, for sure. But
sadly, everybody pitched stuff. When we were getting the Spanish game shipped over about 20 years ago, you could pick them up for next to nothing. They may have been missing a board. See, at the time, it was where you could buy 5 of them and maybe make 3. But nobody wanted to do it. It was,
Yeah. In fact, it's complicated even here because you don't have spare parts. Most components are only made for those machines, like those, those Gottlieb System 1 games.
Right.
Nobody have those spiders, I see. So at least Pascal made great boards for those.
Pascal has helped save the business. The 9-months have saved them, but it didn't save. I actually took to the dump. We took to the dump 50 pinball machines. Games like Embryon and Black Knight and Gorgar. We kept the heads. We junked the bodies.
Yeah.
It was a time when no one wanted them. And working, you get 600, 700, 800 for it. But if you took the board up to the distributor to fix, they wanted 150. And then you had a new problem. Then you had to buy parts and coils.
Oh, sure.
A lot of things just got tossed.
I remember here in Argentina when you had a backlash broken, the machine was worthless.
Right.
Just because they haven't backlash, there was not a way to make a decent reproduction.
Right.
So the event was worth nothing, just overnight.
And the only thing you could do is fake one. Now, something happened today. This guy here, let me show it. This guy right here.
Okay.
I sold him a very rare Bally game called City Slicker.
Oh, yeah.
For $999, Christmas of '92.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm buying it back tomorrow. 30 years later, and I'm giving him 800. And he was thrilled. So for $200, he played it for 30 years.
Wow. Well,
now, of course,
business anyway. Yeah.
It's a very rare game. I can probably get $4,500 for it.
Yeah. Most of those games are very expensive now.
Well, they only made 300 of that one.
Yeah.
So
I used to have an Asteroid Annie and the Aliens.
I finally played one.
It's such a beautiful game. Beautiful machine.
Artwork, it's one of their best artwork.
Yeah.
It's such an odd game.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, was it hated. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Hated it. Oh.
It was weird for that age, but it's beautiful.
I'm trying to figure out how they got that passed. The Gottlieb board of directors. Look, let's make a 1-player game.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, a System 1 board.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Good night, guys.
Bye. See you.
See
Bye-bye.